My fiancé said, I need a break to figure things out. I said, sure. Then I found messages between her and her sister planning to trap me with someone else's baby. So I canceled the wedding, sent the screenshots to her dad, and evicted her from our apartment. What followed was absolute chaos. All right, Reddit. My week went from wedding planning to scorched earth in record time. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the shit show. Name's Cole, 29 male. I'm an inventory coordinator for a regional plumbing supply distributor. Last year I pulled in 58,000 with bonuses, which isn't bad for the area. It's boring work, honestly, but it's stable. My fiancée, Sabrina, 26 female, and I had been together 3 years, engaged for 4 months. We lived in my apartment on Parkside, second floor of this older complex. I'd been renting the place 5 years before she moved in. 850 square feet, 1 bathroom, rent was $1,150 a month. The wedding was set for June 18th, 5 months out. We'd already burned through money. $3,000 for the venue deposit at Riverside Inn, another $1,200 or so for the caterer, $600 for some photographer. The invitations were sitting in our spare room waiting to be mailed. Guest list was at 142 people last I checked, though honestly I'd stopped caring about the details around Christmas. I'd proposed last May at this place about 40 minutes outside the city. Got down on one knee between the trees. Some family took pictures on my phone. She cried, said yes, immediately posted it to Instagram before we even left the parking lot. Her mom called it such a blessing. The text came through while I was cross-checking a shipping order for PEX tubing. Big commercial job. Had to make sure we weren't shorting them on fittings. Hey, I've been thinking a lot lately. I need some space to figure things out. Not saying it's over, just need a break to clear my head. You understand, right? I stared at my phone, read it twice. My brain wasn't processing it right. My stomach dropped like I'd missed a step going downstairs. My first reaction wasn't sadness or anger. It was relief, which probably tells you everything about where we were at. I set the phone face down on my desk and just sat there for a minute. My hands were shaking a little. I picked up my pen, went back to the shipping manifest I'd been checking, forced myself to finish the task. Signed off on the order, filed it, moved to the next one. Here's the thing about Sabrina and me. We'd been coasting for months, maybe longer. She started working late back in November, around Thanksgiving. Her job's at Midwest Insurance doing admin work, basically data entry and filing. For 2 years, she'd been home by 5:30 every single day. Then boom, suddenly she's coming home at 8, 9 p.m., sometimes even later. She'd walk in smelling like Chinese takeout and wearing this perfume I didn't recognize. I asked about the overtime once. She said her boss was pushing hard for year-end closing, a lot of backlogged files to process. Made sense at the time. Except when I checked our bank account, her paychecks were the same amount they'd always been. No overtime pay. So, either she was working late for free, which seemed unlikely, or she was lying about where she was. The sex stopped too. We went from maybe twice a week to absolutely nothing. The last time was mid-November, and after that she always had an excuse ready. Tired from work. Headache. Stressed about the wedding. Her period was coming. The excuses stacked up so consistently that by Christmas, I'd stopped trying entirely. And then there was the Chloe situation. Her younger sister, 23, works part-time at some boutique in the mall while her parents subsidize her rent. They'd never been particularly close before. Saw each other at holidays, texted occasionally. Normal sister stuff. But starting around October, suddenly they're inseparable. Phone calls every single night that Sabrina would take in the bedroom with the door closed. Meeting for lunch 3-4 times a week when before they maybe met once a month. And when I'd ask what they talked about, Sabrina would snap at me. Just sister stuff. Why are you interrogating me? I wasn't interrogating her. I asked one question. So about that text, I typed back, okay, take the time you need. That was it. No, can we talk about this? No desperate, what did I do wrong message. If she wanted space, she could have all the space in the world. What she didn't know was that I'd already emotionally checked out weeks ago. I'd been watching everything shift, noting the patterns, getting myself ready for whatever was coming. Call it survival instinct or just paying attention. But I wasn't blindsided. About 10 minutes later, Kenny walked past my office window. He operates one of the forklifts, been doing it for 6 years. We went to the same high school, played football together, both of us on defense. He saw my face through the glass and immediately doubled back, stuck his head through the doorway. Yo, you good? You look like someone just told you your truck died. Sabrina wants a break. His eyebrows went up. Wait, what? Aren't you guys getting married in June? Were, I guess. He came all the way into my office and closed the door behind him. Bro, that's ice cold. 5 months out? What did you say? I said, okay, take your time. Just like that? No pushback? What am I supposed to do? Beg her to want to marry me? That's pathetic. He nodded. Yeah, you're right. But man, you know what this is, right? Spell it out for me. She's either got someone else already, or she's testing you. Probably both. Women don't ask for breaks 5 months before a wedding, unless the decision's already made. She's just covering her tracks. That's what I figured. He leaned against my filing cabinet. Honestly, you're better off. That whole family's exhausting. Her mom's fake as hell, the sister's worse, and Sabrina? He trailed off, shook his head like he was picking his words carefully. Say it. Dude, she treats you like garbage. We've all seen it. That cookout last summer? She made like 3 separate comments about your job, your truck, what you were wearing, then laughed like it was just jokes. That's not jokes, man. That's disrespect. I didn't respond. Partly because he was right and partly because hearing someone else say it out loud made it real. Why didn't you say anything before? He shrugged. You seemed happy, or at least I thought you were. Wasn't my place to crash your thing, but now that it's crashing anyway, yeah, you dodged one. We talked for a few more minutes. Him telling me if I needed help moving her stuff out, or just wanted to grab drinks and talk. Call him anytime. That's what real friends do. I finished my shift on autopilot, clocked out at 5:45 p.m., got home around 6:20 p.m. Sabrina's Honda wasn't in her parking spot. Figured she was probably at Chloe's, celebrating her newfound freedom, or whatever this break meant in her head. I walked upstairs, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. All her stuff was still everywhere. 3 years of her stuff spread across my apartment like she'd marked her territory. I grabbed my phone, ordered pad thai from that place on Riverside, ate it straight from the container while watching Cavs highlights on ESPN. Tried to focus on the game, but my mind kept drifting. Went to bed around 10:30 p.m. I laid there staring at the ceiling, waiting to feel something big. Sadness, anger, regret. Nothing came. I just felt tired. Slept straight through until my alarm. Thursday morning. Alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. Same as always. Checked my phone. No texts, no missed calls, nothing. She'd been gone all night and hadn't bothered to let me know where she was. Not that she owed me an explanation during our break, but still, whatever. I got up, showered, went through my normal morning routine, made coffee, got dressed for work. That's when I noticed her iPad sitting on the kitchen counter, plugged into the charger. The big iPad Pro she'd bought specifically for wedding planning. She kept all the vendor info on there. Seating charts, Pinterest boards full of centerpiece ideas I didn't care about. The screen was on, battery showing 38%. I almost didn't look. But when I picked it up to move it so I could wipe down the counter, the screen lit up. Messages were still open. Active conversation with Chloe right there on the display. The most recent message, timestamp from last night at 11:17 p.m. He actually said, okay to the break, LOL. Phase 1 complete. This is almost too easy. I froze. Read it again. Phase 1? My stomach dropped. I sat down at the kitchen table, iPad in my hands, and scrolled up through their conversation. What I found over the next 10 minutes made me feel sick. Messages going back weeks. Dozens of them. Maybe more. Sabrina and Chloe having these detailed conversations, planning everything out like it was some kind of operation. I kept scrolling. My coffee sat forgotten next to me, going cold. And the more I read, the worse it got. Turns out Sabrina had been sleeping with this guy, Adam Wilson. 28, goes to their church. His dad, Isaac Wilson, is one of the church elders. Apparently has money from commercial real estate. They'd been seeing each other since mid-October. 4 full months of sneaking around while I was working and paying bills and planning our wedding. The messages talked about meeting at his condo downtown when he told his parents he was working late. Weekend trips Sabrina claimed were visiting college friends. All lies, all documented in these texts like she was keeping a journal of her affair. And she was pregnant. 8 weeks, according to a message from 3 days ago, where she told Chloe the results came back positive. She didn't know whose it was. Could be mine, could be Adam's. Then I found the plan. Laid out in detail, Chloe coaching Sabrina through every step. Phase 1. Ask for a break. Create emotional distance so later she can claim we were on a break, and she'd been seeking comfort elsewhere. Make it seem like I was the one pulling away. Phase 2. Stay at Chloe's for 2 or 3 weeks. Post sad stuff on social media about personal growth and finding herself. Get sympathy from friends and family. Phase 3. Reconcile after a few weeks. Come back saying she realized she couldn't live without me. Phase 4. Announce the pregnancy a week or two later. Present it as a surprise that happened during our working things out phase. Let me naturally assume it's mine since the timing would fit. Phase 5. Push to move the wedding up. Say it just feels right now. We don't want to wait. We're starting a family, so why delay? Get married quickly before any questions about paternity could arise. If I ever questioned it after the baby was born, play the victim. Make me look like a horrible husband who doesn't trust his wife. Get sympathy from family and friends. If DNA eventually proved it wasn't mine, figure it out then. Either keep lying and raise Adam's kid on my insurance and income, or divorce me and go after Adam's family money. The messages between them were disgusting. Chloe. Mom's gonna lose it when she finds out about Adam, though. Sabrina. Mom cares more about appearances than truth. Once there's a baby, she'll help spin whatever story we need. She always does. Chloe. And Dad? Sabrina. Dad will yell for a week, then write a check. Meanwhile, Cole will never know he's raising someone else's kid. Chloe. Unless it looks exactly like Adam, lol. Sabrina. They're both 6 feet 1 inch with brown hair. Could go either way. And honestly, even if people suspect, nobody actually confronts that stuff. They'll just whisper while I collect child support. And then this one, from 3 weeks back. Chloe. Adam's spontaneous and fun, but not really husband material. Cole's boring but reliable. Good credit score, looking at houses, stable job. Sabrina. I know, lol. Adam makes me feel alive, but Cole's the safe choice. Can't beat a 760 credit score and someone who's already talking about buying property. I took screenshots. Every single message, sent them to my email, deleted the sent record. Then I called in sick to work. I sat at that table for close to an hour. This wasn't some mistake. This was fraud, planned over months. They'd discussed me like I was a checking account with decent credit, not a human being. Around 10 a.m., I plugged her iPad back exactly where I'd found it. Started making calls. First to the wedding venue. Asked about cancellation. Venue would refund $2,500 of our $3,000 deposit since we were over 90 days out. Next to my landlord. Confirmed Sabrina wasn't on the lease. Then to Carlos, my legal assistant buddy, asked him to draft an eviction notice. Carlos emailed it by evening. I printed it, filed it away. Friday I went back to work. Acted normal. Kenny asked how I was doing. I said fine. Told him I'd figured some things out. He didn't push. Sabrina came back to the apartment Thursday night around 9 p.m. to grab clothes. Said she was staying at Chloe's. I let her pack a bag and leave without arguing. Friday, I spent the day planning my next moves. She showed up again Friday night around 10 p.m. Said she needed more of her stuff. Crashed on the couch. Saturday morning, I told Sabrina I had errands. She was watching TV, barely looked up. Okay, I might meet Chloe for lunch. Cool. She didn't ask where I was going. I drove to Fifth Third Bank on Porter Street, where we'd set up the wedding joint account. We'd each put in $700 monthly for 8 months, $5,600 total each. Account had $6,100 after vendor deposits. I talked to Nadia, a bank officer I'd worked with before when we opened the account. Showed ID, requested a withdrawal of $5,600. She reviewed the account history on her computer, clicked through a few screens. Legally, you can withdraw this. It's joint with either party access. She typed for a minute, printed forms, had me sign twice. 10 minutes later, I had a check for $5,600. Drove to a different branch 3 miles away, deposited it into my personal account. Done. Next stop, Kowalski Jewelers, where I'd bought the engagement ring 4 months ago. 1.2 carat diamond, white gold, cost me $4,800. Sal, the owner, recognized me immediately. Hey, engagement ring guy, how's it going? I pulled the ring box from my jacket pocket, set it on the counter. Wedding's off. What can you give me for this? He picked up the box, opened it, examined the ring under his jeweler's loupe for about 30 seconds. Perfect condition. He set it down carefully. I can offer $2,200. That's honest resale value. Done. He pulled out paperwork, filled it in, cut me a check right there. The whole transaction took maybe 10 minutes. Better to find out now than 5 years in with kids, he said, handing me the check. Exactly. By Saturday afternoon, I'd recovered $7,800. The venue would refund another $2,500 when I canceled. Total loss, about $1,200. My second buddy, Carlos, had been helping me during all this. I'd asked him Thursday night to look into eviction procedures for my situation. He called me while I was driving back from the jeweler. Okay, so here's the deal. She's not on the lease, which makes this easier. You need to give her written notice to vacate. Since she's been living there more than a year, you legally need to give 30 days notice. But if she leaves voluntarily, that doesn't matter. What if she doesn't leave? Then you file for eviction after the 30 days. But honestly, most people leave before it gets that far. Nobody wants an eviction on their record. Got it. Can you draft the notice? Already did. I'll email it to you. You're the best, man. I got home around 2 p.m. Sabrina was on the couch watching some reality show, looking comfortable and content. Hey, can we talk for a minute? I said. She muted the TV. Sure. What's up? I sat down across from her, stayed casual. So I've been thinking about this break thing. I think you're right. We need space. Actually, I think we need more than space. Her face changed slightly. What do you mean? I'm calling off the wedding. Silence. She stared at me like I'd just spoken a foreign language. What? You can't just... We can work through this. That's what the break is for, to figure things out. I did figure things out. We're not compatible anymore. Haven't been for a while. So I'm canceling everything. Are you serious? We have deposits. We have plans, my family. I withdrew my share from the wedding account this morning. 5,600. You've still got your half in there. You can do whatever you want with it. Her face went from shocked to pissed real quick. You can't just take money out of our joint account. It was my money. I took exactly what I put in. You still have yours. She stood up, voice getting louder. This is crazy. You're throwing away 3 years because you're having cold feet? That's what this is. You're just scared. Nope, I'm just done. I pulled out the eviction notice Carlos had drafted, handed it to her. Also, you need to move out. You've got 30 days to find a new place. She snatched the paper, read it, and her face went red. You're kicking me out? This is my home. It's my apartment. Your name's not on the lease. Never has been. Where am I supposed to go? You've been staying at Chloe's anyway. Figure it out. She looked at me like she didn't recognize me. You're being completely unreasonable right now. I asked for space, not a breakup. Cool, well, I'm giving you a breakup and 30 days notice. Pick up your stuff whenever. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed my gym bag, and headed out. Left her standing there holding the eviction notice, trying to figure out what just happened. By Saturday night, everything broke loose. My phone started ringing around 8 p.m. Sabrina's mom, Marianne, always worried about what people at church think, always putting on this perfect family performance. I was at Kenny's place watching the game when her name lit up my screen. I let it ring through to voicemail. 30 seconds later, the notification popped up. I played it on speaker so Kenny could hear. This is absolutely unacceptable behavior. You made a commitment to my daughter, and you need to honor that. We need to sit down and discuss this like adults. Call me back immediately. I deleted the message without responding. Then Sabrina's sister Chloe called. What is wrong with you? She started. No greeting. You just humiliated my sister. Do you have any idea what you've done? Yeah, I ended an engagement. Pretty straightforward. You can't just kick her out. She lives there. That's illegal. It's not illegal. I own the lease and gave her proper written notice. She's got 30 days. This is because you're insecure. You can't handle that she needed some space, so you're punishing her. I almost laughed. You done? You're going to regret this. My sister is the best thing that ever happened to you, and you're throwing her away like garbage. If you say so. Anyway, I've got dinner getting cold. Lose my number. I hung up. Sunday morning, Sabrina's father called. Mr. Dennis, 57, retired electrician. Solid guy, actually. We'd always gotten along fine. He helped me install a new ceiling fan in the apartment last summer, hung out on my balcony, and talked about football. I answered. Hey son, got a minute? Yeah, what's up? Heard about you and Sabrina. Want to hear your side before everyone loses their minds. I appreciated that. Gave him the basics. She asked for a break. I called off the wedding, withdrew my money, gave her eviction notice. Left out the part about the messages and the pregnancy scheme. Figured I'd keep that ammunition for when I really needed it. He was quiet for a moment. All right, that's fair. Can't say I blame you. Thanks. My wife's losing it. Wants you to apologize and get back together. But between you and me, if a woman asks for a break right before the wedding, something else is going on. I appreciate you saying that. You take care of yourself. We hung up. 5 minutes later, I heard him in the background of another call. Marianne had called me again, this time with Mr. Dennis on the line. You need to step up and fix this, Marianne was saying. This is humiliating for our family. Mr. Dennis cut her off, voice firm. Marianne, stop. The boy doesn't owe us anything. Sabrina's a grown woman who made her own choices. She asked for space. That's normal. He's overreacting. No, he's protecting himself. And honestly, I respect him for it. Now drop it. I could hear her sputtering, trying to argue, but he shut it down. That was the last call from him. Marianne, on the other hand, kept trying. I sent her to voicemail every time. Monday at work, I was in the middle of processing a large order for a commercial contractor when my phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. This is Adam. We need to talk about Sabrina. I stared at it. Adam, the potential father of Sabrina's baby. I texted back, no, we don't. Yes, we do. You embarrassed her. She's a good person, and you treated her like garbage. Cool story. She told me everything. How you kicked her out with nowhere to go. That's messed up. This guy had some nerve. I typed, tell you what, she's all yours. Congratulations. What's that supposed to mean? Figure it out, genius. I blocked him. Done. By Monday evening, Sabrina had apparently started spreading lies to anyone who would listen. According to Kenny, who heard it from his girlfriend who knows Sabrina's cousin, the story going around was that I'd been emotionally distant for months, refused to go to couples counseling, and blindsided her with a breakup right before the wedding because I had commitment issues. No mention of her asking for a break, no mention of Adam. Tuesday morning, I came home from work to find Sabrina and Chloe in my apartment. They'd let themselves in with Sabrina's key, which she still had. Both of them were going through my stuff, packing boxes. I could see from the entryway that they'd already loaded up my coffee maker, some of my dishes, even a lamp I'd bought 3 years before Sabrina and I met. I stood there for a second, keys still in my hand, trying to process the scene. Chloe was in the kitchen wrapping plates in newspaper. Sabrina was coming out of the bedroom with an armful of hangers. What are you doing? I said, standing in the doorway. Sabrina looked up, defiant. Getting my things, since you're kicking me out. You've got 30 days. I'm not waiting 30 days. I want my stuff now. Fine. Take your stuff, but only your stuff. Chloe stepped forward, arms crossed. We'll take whatever we want. You owe her for 3 years of putting up with you. You used her, wasted her time. Now you're throwing her out. She deserves compensation. I pulled out my phone, started recording. Say that again for the camera. They both froze. Chloe's face went red. You can't record us without permission. It's my apartment. I can record whoever I want in it. Now get out. Sabrina grabbed 2 boxes she'd packed, mostly clothes and toiletries, stuff that was actually hers. Chloe grabbed one. They headed for the door, both shooting me looks like I was the villain. You're going to regret this, Sabrina said at the door. I promise you. Noted. Leave your key on the counter. No. Then I'm changing the locks today and you're trespassing if you come back. She threw the key at me. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor. They left, slamming the door behind them. After they were gone, I picked up the key from the floor and called my landlord to let him know I'd be changing the locks since the other key holder had moved out. He said no problem, just send him a copy of the new key for emergencies. Wednesday, things escalated further. Sabrina and Chloe started a whisper campaign at their church, the same church where Adam's father was an elder. They were telling people I'd been controlling and manipulative, that I'd isolated Sabrina from her friends and family, that I'd kicked her out with no warning. The church community turned against me instantly. People I barely knew were messaging me about what a terrible person I was, how I should be ashamed, how God sees everything. I ignored them all. Thursday evening, Adam showed up at my apartment. I was making dinner when someone knocked around 7 p.m. Checked the peephole and saw this guy I didn't recognize at first. Tall, brown hair, wearing business casual like he'd just come from an office. Mid to late 20s. Had to be Adam. I opened the door, leaned against the frame with my arms crossed. He had his hands in his pockets, shifting his weight like he was nervous. Are you Sabrina's fiancé? Ex-fiancé. He paused, glanced down the hallway. Look, can we talk for a minute? Inside? No. Whatever you've got to say it from there. That threw him off. Probably used to people accommodating him, church elder's son and all. He cleared his throat, tried to regain composure. Look, man, Sabrina's a mess. She cares about you. You guys should work this out. I almost laughed. You sleeping with my fiancé and now you're giving me relationship advice? That's bold. His face went pale. What? You and Sabrina. Don't insult me by pretending you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't. Who told you that? Doesn't matter. What matters is you need to get away from my door before this conversation goes somewhere you don't want it to go. She said you guys were on a break. We weren't. She lied to you. She's good at that. Now leave. He stood there for another few seconds, looking like his world was crumbling. Does her family know? Not yet, but they will if you don't walk away right now. He left, walked fast to his car, got in, drove away. 30 minutes later, Sabrina called. I answered, put it on speaker. What did you say to Adam? The truth. You had no right. You're ruining everything. I'm ruining things? That's funny. He's freaking out now. His family's super religious, if they find out. Sounds like a you problem. Why are you being so cruel? I asked for a break, not a war. You asked for a break so you could baby trap me with a kid that might not even be mine while keeping Adam on the side. I read the messages between you and Chloe. All of them. Complete silence on her end. Then, quietly, you went through my iPad? You left it unlocked on the counter. I saw enough to know exactly what you were planning. That's invasion of privacy. And what you were planning is fraud. So I guess we're even. She hung up. Friday, Mr. Dennis called me again. What's this I'm hearing about Sabrina being pregnant? So Adam had apparently cracked under pressure and told his parents everything, who then told the church elders, who then told anyone who would listen. You'd have to ask her, I said. She hasn't told me anything. Is it yours? Couldn't be. We haven't been together in that way for almost 2 months. He muttered something under his breath. And the father? Adam, church elder's son. Been going on since October. He muttered again. Marianne's going to lose her mind. Probably. Listen, I want to apologize for my daughter's behavior, and for Chloe backing her up in all this. I raised them better than this. Or at least I thought I did. I appreciate that. They've been spreading lies about you. I shut it down every time I hear it, but my wife keeps enabling them. For what it's worth, you handled this better than most men would have. We talked for a few more minutes. He told me Marianne was demanding Sabrina get back together with Adam, force him to take responsibility, salvage some kind of respectability. But Adam's family wanted nothing to do with her. They'd apparently offered to pay for expenses related to the pregnancy if she agreed to leave their son alone and not pursue any kind of relationship. The church community was torn. Half of them were defending Sabrina as a victim of my cruelty. The other half were scandalized by the affair and pregnancy, treating her like a cautionary tale. Marianne was trying to control the narrative, spin it somehow, make it seem like Sabrina was the wronged party. But Mr. Dennis wasn't having it. Saturday afternoon, he called both daughters over to his house for a family meeting. He'd told me about it beforehand, said he was done with the lies and manipulation. According to what he told me later that night, here's what went down. He confronted both Sabrina and Chloe with everything. The affair, the pregnancy scheme, the plan to baby trap me, the lies they'd been spreading. He'd asked to see Sabrina's messages with Chloe. When she refused, he told her she had 2 choices: show him the messages or get out of his house. She showed him. He read everything, every text, every callous comment about using me as provider material, every detail of their plan. Then he turned to Chloe and asked if she had anything to say for herself. She apparently doubled down, said they were just trying to secure Sabrina's future, that I should have been honored to step up regardless of paternity, that this was all my fault for being unforgiving. He told them both they were cut off. No more money, no more support, no more enablement. Sabrina could live with Marianne if she wanted, but he was done. Chloe could keep living her life, but not with his financial help. Marianne tried to argue, defend the girls, say they made mistakes, but deserved forgiveness. Mr. Dennis shut her down, told her she was part of the problem, always prioritizing image over integrity. Said if she wanted to enable their behavior, she could do it without him. By Sunday, Sabrina had moved in with Marianne, who was still trying to fix everything. Chloe was barely speaking to their father, posting vague social media rants about toxic masculinity and family betrayal. The church community had basically split into factions. Some defended Sabrina, some condemned her, most just enjoyed the drama from a distance. Adam's family had lawyered up, apparently. They wanted a paternity test before they'd commit to anything financial. Sabrina was refusing, saying it was an invasion of her privacy and showed they didn't trust her, which obviously made them trust her even less. Kenny kept me updated on all the gossip, his girlfriend hearing everything through her network. It was messy, chaotic. Exactly what happens when someone's lies catch up with them. Meanwhile, I was just living my life. Went to work, hit the gym, hung out with friends. Started looking at buying a house now that I had some money saved up without wedding expenses draining it. Carlos helped me start researching neighborhoods, interest rates, all that stuff. My apartment felt bigger without Sabrina's stuff everywhere. More like mine again. 3 weeks after I called off the wedding, on a Tuesday evening around 8 p.m., someone knocked on my apartment door. I was on the couch watching Cavs highlights, halfway through a leftover sub from lunch. The knock was soft, hesitant. I checked the peephole. Sabrina, looking rough. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. There was a duffel bag at her feet. I opened the door but stayed in the frame, blocking entry. What do you want? Can we talk? Please? Her voice was shaky. Nothing like the confident tone she'd used 3 weeks ago. I need help. Okay, talk. She glanced past me into the apartment, probably expecting me to step aside. When I didn't move, didn't budge an inch, she realized the conversation was happening right here in the doorway, with my neighbors potentially listening. Adam's family is threatening to sue me for defamation. His dad got kicked off the church elder board because of the scandal. They're saying I seduced their son and destroyed his reputation. They're turning everyone against me. Sounds familiar. My mom kicked me out. Said I'm an embarrassment and she can't have me living there anymore. My dad won't even talk to me. Chloe's broke and can't help. I have nowhere to go. Still not hearing a question. I need to move back in. Just temporarily, until I figure things out. I'll stay in the second bedroom. We don't have to interact. I just need a place to stay. I stared at her. This woman who treated me like a backup plan while sleeping with someone else was now asking to move back into my apartment. No, please. I'm pregnant. I can't be homeless. You're not homeless. You've got options, they just aren't convenient. What options? Everyone hates me. The church won't help. My family won't help. Adam wants nothing to do with me. Should have thought about that before you decided to run a con. I made mistakes, okay? I messed up, but I'm still carrying a baby. Doesn't that matter to you at all? Not my baby, not my problem. How can you be so heartless? I almost laughed. Heartless? You plan to trick me into raising another man's kid while keeping Adam as your backup option. You called me provider material like I was some kind of insurance policy. And now you show up here asking for mercy? I was scared. I didn't know what to do. You knew exactly what you were doing. She started crying. I've lost everything. My family, my reputation, the church, Adam, you, everything. Yeah, that's what happens when people find out who you really are. So that's it? You're just going to leave me with nothing? I'm not leaving you with anything. I'm just not saving you from the consequences of your own choices. I need help. Get a job, find a roommate, figure it out. You're 26 years old, not helpless. The baby is yours and Adam's problem, not mine. She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. You've really changed. Yes, I'm sorry. For all of it. I really am. Cool. Apology noted. Doesn't change anything. She stood there for another moment, tears still streaming down her face, waiting for me to soften. I didn't. You should go, I said. I've got work tomorrow. You're really not going to help me? I really am not. She stared at me, looking desperate and lost. Then she turned and walked away, shoulders shaking, heading back down the stairs to whatever came next. I closed the door, went back to the living room where I'd been watching the game. I turned the TV volume back up, grabbed another soda from the fridge, settled into the couch, living my life on my terms, free from manipulation and lies, and someone else's drama. Sabrina had rolled the dice on me being weak, on me being the kind of guy who'd cave under pressure, who'd take her back out of guilt or obligation or some misplaced sense of responsibility. She'd bet wrong. And now she was dealing with reality, that actions have consequences, that burning bridges means you don't get to cross them again when it's convenient. I didn't feel guilty, didn't feel angry, didn't feel much of anything except satisfied that I'd handled it cleanly. 2 weeks later, I put an offer on a small house in a quiet neighborhood 20 minutes from work. 3 bedrooms, fenced yard, needs some work, but solid bones. My offer got accepted. Carlos helped me with the paperwork. Kenny helped me move the furniture I was keeping, toss the stuff I wasn't. Started fresh in a space that was completely mine. No history, no ghosts. Heard through the grapevine that Sabrina eventually moved 2 hours away to stay with some distant relative. Had the baby. Took Adam to court for child support after the paternity test confirmed it was his. His family settled for a monthly payment with 0 custody or visitation. They wanted nothing to do with her or the kid. Chloe got cut off from their father's support like he promised. Had to get a real job for the first time in her life. Posted bitter social media rants about it for months. As for me, kept working, kept improving the house, kept living life on my terms. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.